Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here at the Mark Hotel. And this is one of the more famous hotels in New York City. I've known it for a long time, but this is actually the first time I've stayed here. I've met people here, and this is truly an original and really impressive luxury property. I'm here with Etienne Haro, who's the general manager of this wonderful property. And Etienne just gave me a wonderful tour of all the suites, and we're going to talk about that. And we're going to give you a little bit of a refresher about the Mark, because everybody thinks they know the Mark, but you got to go here and really explore it and send your clients here, more importantly. And you're going to find out about all that and more on Insider Travel Report. Etienne, first of all, great to see you here. Thank you very much for this wonderful tour. There's a lot of things that I kind of know about the Mark, but this is kind of pulling it all together for me.
Thank you, James. It's great to have you. It's you said something very interesting, that there are many things you may not know about the Mark, but there's a reason for it, right? I don't remember who said that, but a great brand is a story that is never completely told, and I think this is really what the Mark is. We are an Upper East Side luxury hotel. The Mark as we know it was created in 2009, designed by Jacques Grange, an incredible designer.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. He's really done an amazing job. But the hotel itself, go back to the history, it was created as a hotel in the 20s, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was created in 1927. It is strangely one of the very few hotels in New York City that were created entirely as a hotel, a purpose-built hotel. It was not a co-op, it was not a mixed-use development, and it lived as a hotel, ever since. Different owners, different iterations, but it's really during the 80s that the hotel and in this area started to attract a little bit more of the entertainment industry, a little bit more of this higher net worth individuals. So this was probably in the 80s. The cooler stars would come. Like at the time, I think in the 80s, the film producers, the filmmakers would stay in Midtown, but the young up and coming stars, would start staying here. And then, of course, when our current owners bought the property in 2006 and renovated it in 2009, it really is the moment where the Mark had an incredible break.
Yeah, so you told me also that you are constantly renovating 2 or 3 floors every year to keep this really in vogue, and you got your owners are really want to back this, so everything looks absolutely pristine and all designer, and so you keep renovating. It's not like you did one huge renovation and then just let's forget about it for a few years, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, of course, the decision of taking Jacques Grange, so one of the greatest interior decorator in history, was wonderful, but it's also a challenge because he's used some of the top contemporary furniture designers in the world. The Vladimir Kagan, the Paul Mathieu, the Mattia Bonetti, Ron Arad. So you cannot change the Ron Arad lamp and turn it into CB2, right? So it's the idea really for us is every year we take 3 floors and we renovate them really in the spirit of Jacques, really respecting his vision, making sure the hotel is always fresh.
Now, what groups is the Mark part of, leading and things like that? Or what are you? You're really an independent property, but what are your affiliations?
So we are an independent hotel, the one of a kind, but we are affiliated with Legend, Preferred Legend.
Oh, so that's Preferred. Yeah, okay. I just was actually with them in Cannes, so I know that well. Now, let's talk about where the location is, because it's Upper East Side. It's kind of like all these places. I was talking, it's where the hotels are. So we have the Mark, we have the Carlisle, we have the Surrey, all these different, and the Pierre. So this is what I know it for. That was, everyone had to have a capital THE before it. But talk about this location, because it's pretty impressive. You're a block away from the park, right?
Yeah, look, 15 years ago when our owners decided to make this sizable investment to turn the Mark, into what it is today, many thought that this location was not the right one, and I think the vision of our owners was that this area had all the elements that would attract the clientele we wanted to have. And, you have the park. This is the best amenity in New York City. probably one of the best amenities in the world. I mean, there's nothing that can replace Central Park. And we have 2 almost direct access as well, right at the end of the street. So the park, Museum Mile.
You have the Metropolitan Museum, you have the Guggenheim, you have all these incredible places literally just a few blocks away.
The Frick Collection reopening very soon, the Neue Gallery, and Madison. Madison Avenue, is still today in the top 3 luxury shopping avenues in the world. And the past few years, it really gained a new momentum, and today it's unbelievable. And we had, over the past 15 years, an incredible role to play in that community. Today brands would actually very often come to see us and ask us, well, should I open on Madison? well, yeah, I mean, we're just a hotel in a way.
Stores and things like that. Yeah, no, you're right around. The shopping is absolutely fantastic. Now let's get to the heart of the matter, because we just came out of all the suites, the rooms and suites. And how many rooms and suites do you have in the property?
So 153 rooms and suites. This is 106 rooms and 46 suites, including the 2 largest suites in New York City and the largest suite in America.
Now I always knew there was that large suite, the penthouse suite, and it's amazing. It's a 2-floor suite, and I read about it a lot, and I did not realize that is actually the largest suite in America, right?
Yeah, it is an incredible product. And we have our top 3 suites are grouped under a collection that we call the Penthouse Collection. But the crown jewel is the Mark Penthouse. So it's 11,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, 2 powder rooms, a library, a kitchen, a dining room, a steam room, of course a terrace that you've seen,
Yeah, well, I saw that you can actually go skating up there. We're like they have the skates lined up. They're going to put ice around the penthouse floor on the exterior, because you're an incredible terrace out there, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is in a city like New York, having outdoor spaces for suites the way we have them is truly unique and is an incredible luxury. Our top 3 suites, so these 3 penthouses, have large terraces, and in the case of the Mark Penthouse, this is an entire rooftop. In the summer, this is sun lounges, a bonfire. We can do beautiful barbecues. In the winter, we do turn it into a private ice skating rink overlooking Midtown.
That is pretty awesome. Now, the rooftop bars have always been in vogue, but here at the Mark, to do a rooftop bar, you got to take the penthouse suite, right?
in a way, yeah. And look, this is something. These suites are very unique, but very much like the rest of the hotel. The unique feel, the energy, the connection to the local community have created an incredible loyal following. And these top suites really found over the years their clientele. So much so that some of our guests might even change their travel schedule if some of these suites are not available.
You were telling me that earlier, that when can I have the suite, and then I'll come then, right?
Yeah, this is incredible, and this is, I think, a testament to the way our team make our guests feel. It has become like a home away from home, truly, in this sense that we do in a way influence even their travel dates. so that's special.
So what are some of the standout amenities and services in the rooms? Because we were talking about some of the things they have. It's all perfectly arranged. You have everything you need. And I think the one thing I told you, I said, you have the most amazing water pressure I've ever had in a hotel. It was for the shower, right?
Yeah, this is, we in a way, in a very competitive luxury hotel world, the difference is often on details, and water pressure is one of them. So it's true that we have an incredible water pressure because we actually have accelerate that pressure throughout the property. The overall hotel was designed in a very convenient way. The fact that Jacques was a high-end residential designer of private homes, he really thought the hotel in terms of convenience. So very luxurious, all the furniture is very highly curated, but also a lot of storage from the lowest room category to the highest. You can really unpack. You can really shop and not live in the middle of your bags. Double sinks in every room, shower and bathtub, and the finish
and jacuzzi in the major penthouse suite, which
in a few suites actually, yeah. And the whole finitions, Jacques thought them with the idea of legacy, the idea of duration. It was about creating a new hotel which would, as quickly as possible, establish itself as a legacy luxury property. And through to do this, the materials that we used, we spared really no expense. And you saw the bathrooms, which are fully nickel chromed. This is pretty incredible, and that's why they look so beautiful still today. It was an incredible.
Yeah, you're not going to see any rust or anything like that because it's nickel plated, and it really looks amazing. And of course, I have to tell you a small pet peeve: television coverage in hotels is usually pretty lousy, the channels you get. But you have all the channels I like. I'm a weird person. I like Turner Classic Movies. You have that. So kudos to that, because I said, oh, no, they're not going to have it. Most hotels don't. You have that. I was watching some football last night. I was watching soccer and football. So you have everything really on the screen, so you can be very comfortable here, right?
Yeah, and we also, in the case of TVs, we also have a system where we have the channels on demand. So a lot of our guests would ask us for something specific. So in a way, we deal with the pre-arrival. We try to make it as personal as possible, and we can adjust all TV channels for a specific football match, for a specific event or movie that the guest may want to watch. So there's a lot of that pre-arrival work that is done by a wonderful guest relations team.
Now, let's talk about food and beverage. You've got two major restaurants here that are really marquee, including one that opened fairly recently. Tell us about what you have here.
Well, look, first, I have to tell you that 15 years ago, and it was very visionary. 15 years ago, I think hotels were starting to close their restaurants because it was difficult to operate in New York. New York has so many incredible restaurants. It's very competitive, and our owners thought that to be connected to the community, to make sure that the visitors to the hotel, the guests of the hotel, feel like that they are in New York, food and beverage would be a key aspect. Right. So working with Jean-Georges van Gerichten, of course, who is consulting on our main restaurant, which is open all day, so 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. This is a beautiful restaurant, the Marc restaurant by Jean-Georges.
I ate there last night. It's really a beautiful restaurant, very casual and very nice, and very east side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, incredible clientele, very New York, and still 15 years down the line, this is a restaurant that is going to do 700 to 1,000 covers a day.
And then one thing, I guess I'd not been updated. You have another restaurant now. It's that serves caviar, and tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, look, I mean, on the back of the success of the Marc restaurant, we thought last year that we could have an opportunity to create another restaurant, a little bit different, and we decided to work with the Parisian institution Caviar Caspia. We opened in February last year, so really around very high quality seafood, caviar, of course, and the famous caviar potato and other derivative. But it's really more a very refined, seafood-driven space, designed by Jacques as well, which was a real honor, that he accepted to actually, we were his first hotel, and now he accepted to do a standalone restaurant. So it was a real honor to have him work on this beautiful space. It's really a little jewelry box, fits right in the Upper East Side, and with our clientele.
Yeah, well, I'm going to come back and try that. I tried Jean-Georges last night. And then, of course, let's not forget, you have a hot dog stand out in the front, which I actually had yesterday. It was great. It was all the fixings, and it was literally right next to your entrance, and it is popular. They're serving hot chocolates and hot dogs, and boy, I think I was out there, and they ran out of hot dogs, and he said, come back in 15 minutes, and I did, and he served me, and then one of the doormen said, he isn't usually open this late, but he's getting so much demand, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, this is the amazing thing about what the owners and what the teams we're creating over these years is this brand, or our brand, the Marc brand, really is looked up to, and by a lot of our guests, as soon as we launch something, if we do it well, that is, and we're very rigorous in the way we create these experiences, they actually buy into it, and the hot dog is one of them. A hot dog stand, yesterday we sold 190 hot dogs.
I was one of them, so I hadn't had lunch, so I had to do that. So, but it was very good. Sauerkraut and pickles and the whole deal, mustard. It was perfect. And but you talk about about that New York experience. So you also try to deliver a real New York experience here in many, many ways. You have, I think, a program with the Met, things like that. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think, as a brand, we decided to first leverage what we have. What we have is, of course, our hotel, the street, the neighborhood. But we also thought that as the brand grows and becomes stronger, we can really expand what we do. Mm-hmm. And expanding what we do is really onto how we get our guests to discover the city. So we have the Mark Pedicab that takes guests all across 10 blocks radius. We have, of course, the Jean-Georges picnics in the park. We have the Mark sailboat.
No, that was the one I read about a few years ago. I haven't heard about it recently, but they actually have a sailboat. With how many guests can go?
25, up to 25.
So all around the rivers and everything?
Yeah, we go from the west side of Manhattan, leaving around Tribeca, and then we go south. We stop at the Statue of Liberty, wait for sunset. The canapés are created specially by Jean-Georges. All beautiful beverages, and when you see the sunset, and discovering New York in silence, is something pretty special. And as you said, we expand that today. We're the only hotel which is considered as a patron of the Met, so our guests can discover the Metropolitan Museum after hours on the closure day. We have a lot of these exclusive accesses, and we keep developing, these aspects whereby we are searching for these incredible things that New York has to offer and how we can articulate that in our storytelling and in the Mark brand.
Well, and you're telling me that, while you do have skating at the top of the Penthouse in the winter, but you also have an arrangement with in Rock Center, so you can arrange a whole skating experience there too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're very blessed. I mean, the Rockefeller Center accepted that we would be the first hotel to actually have this VIP access, so our guests can cut the queue, enjoy your time on the ice, and then they can go right at the bottom of the majestic Christmas tree of Rockefeller, and take their photos there. I mean, this is, in a city like New York, where there's so much, to offer. We try to go a little beyond the obvious, and there's so much we can do in this city. It's a never-ending story, really.
Absolutely, and it sounds like you guys do it very well, and you're really integrated into both the neighborhood and the city, and delivering that New York experience. Now, how long have you been a general manager here?
2 years, exactly 2 years, I think.
You like it so far?
Of course.
No. You're not going to. Here, Etienne does not like it, right?
No, look, I've always loved New York, and I think, I had the chance to work in some of the most incredible properties around the world. But a big difference with New York is that in a city like New York, as I said earlier, it's never ending. If you really put your heart at it every single day, and as an independent brand, that's what we do. We wake up in the morning and we think, okay, well, how can we pursue the brand? How can we build on that legacy? And New York is incredible. This is a bounty of experiences, and with my eyes of being fairly new to the city, I'm also probably a little more curious, because I try to discover it for myself also. So I think that narrative, we're developing it, further and further, and there are so many things to come for us.
Now, what are some of the other properties you've managed?
I was in La Mamounia before, in Marrakech for 4 years, and before
that's a place I still want to go to.
Well, it's certainly a magical place, and then the Burj Al Arab before that also.
Wonderful, a great pedigree, and now you're here. Now, what would you tell? We go out to about 127,000, 28,000 travel advisors out there. A lot of them sell luxury travel. What would you tell them to tell their clients about the best way to experience the Mark?
Well, the best way to experience the Mark is to, first step in, because I think over the years, we've built something very unique. This is a brand that really built an attachment to our guests. This year, 67% of our guests are returning guests.
That's pretty good.
That's quite off the chart, and this is really, testament to the teams. We have this sense of being a home. There's a genuine pride from the team about the neighborhood, about what we stand for, about quality, about being the insiders. And if this resonates with our clientele, but in a very natural way. It's not contrived, it's not over-designed. There's a lot of thought that goes behind it. It's very rigorous, but yet it's delivered in a way which is very natural. And this is something that touches our guests.
Well, you're telling me about the art around here and the photos and everything else is all really planned planned out and thought very carefully about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything was very curated. All the photography in the hotel, for example, was specially commissioned with Karl Lagerfeld, which is not something we necessarily advertise, but I think like the rest of the property, that level of curation extends for all aspects of what we do.
Anything else you want to tell our travel advisors about the Mark that we didn't get to here?
Look, what I would tell you is about the Mark and about our incredible neighborhood. You know, over the past 15 years, the hotel has really redynamized, you know, the incredible Upper East Side. And in many ways, you know, this is a place to be discovered for those who have not tried it yet. The convenience of this localization, the residential aspects, the safety, the cleanliness, the proximity of the park. This is a way to discover New York in a whole new lens, you know, very cultured, very elegant, and yet you're only a few minutes away from Midtown and the beautiful craziness of Times Square and all. So it's, I think it's a place that when you try it, you will never probably want to go back anywhere else, I hope.
And you want to come back because they like that. And where is the best way to go get more information, your website, things like that?
Absolutely. So our website, themarkhotelnewyork.com, and then, you know, we're me. Give me a call.
Call Etienne, and he'll give you all the, since he's discovering New York along with you here, which is great. Now, I got to tell you, if you thought you knew the Mark, hopefully after this interview, you got a little better idea about this wonderful hotel that I've known for a long time, but again, had not had the chance to stay at because I live nearby. And thank you very much for giving me the chance to eat hot dogs in front of the Mark and go to Jean-Georges and really experience this wonderful property.
It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.